So now, everyone, we have Shelley Hodgen joining us. Let's see if I can unmute her. Shelley, there you are. Okay. Hello, Shelley. Can you hear me?
I can. Hi, Vanessa. How are you?
Yay. Oh, so awesome. All right, everyone. I'm so excited to introduce you to Shelley. So I was introduced to her, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember, before I had my daughter. So 8 or 9 years ago through a dear soul sister of mine named Katya. And Shelley is an energy healer and a clairvoyant. She actually had, I love that she used to lead the Berkeley Psychic Institute, because I remember thinking, well, if she teaches psychics, she must be pretty psychic. But more importantly, the reason I wanted to invite Shelley to this call is because as an energy healer, she has so many great tools to help people ground their energy and release fear from your body, from your system. So I thought, when I was thinking about who to bring to this, bringing calm to COVID gatherings, I thought Shelley would be such a wonderful resource for people during this unprecedented time. So without further ado, Shelley, I want to pass it off to you.
Great. Thank you, Vanessa. And thank you so much for having me. What a great space, healing space you created. And you know what, I want to focus on just exploring fear as energy. And I know probably a lot of it's already been said, and teach a couple tools that people can use to start to manage and release the fear in their space. So, when you think about everything's energy, and quantum physics have already proved that everything's energy. So even the chair we're sitting on, it's just a denser energy. So if you think of fear, pain, confusion, it's kind of a heavy vibration as opposed to joy and love, and it's a higher frequency. And so if I were to sum up energy healing in just a sentence, it would be, how do you shift from one vibration to another? Everything's energy. So how do you shift out of those heavier energies like fear? Sometimes I call the work I do like clearing the mud off our light. So the mud being the heavy. And so this circumstance that's happening with the coronavirus really allows for people to start to be aware of what they're carrying around inside them, and how it's affecting them. And obviously a lot of how people react to this has to do with what they bring to the table. Like if they're anxious, old traumas, things like that, that gets triggered. So what I'd like to do today is do a meditation and teach some techniques and really go within to, I've noticed that people who are really sensitive are really prone to getting knocked around by what's happening out in the collective world, right around them. We think of everything as energy, even thoughts, emotions. We're always exchanging energy with people, and it can really affect us. You can get around somebody in a bad mood and all of a sudden your energy drops. So let's go ahead and do some energy healing work here. And because I know a lot of this has been said, but it's great to actually release it. So for the meditation part, if you're sitting in a chair and it's possible to put your feet on the ground, just to help with that grounding. I know that's been mentioned. I got to listen to a little bit of Rick's talk, and what great information. And people kind of saying the same thing. How do you stay calm and grounded in the middle of all the chaos? And it's how do we manage our energy to stay at a higher vibration around when people are in fear or pain? And it can be a real challenge for sensitive people because we're so knocked around. We're always exchanging energy with people. Thoughts are pieces of energy, emotions. So for the meditation, if you can, put your feet on the ground and close your eyes and just take a nice deep breath. And first, I'd like you to be aware. To me, I definitely, in the school of thought that, we're here on Earth School to learn and grow as a soul. And we inhabit these bodies and go through all these experiences. And because when you think of it, you know, it really, to me, all that matters is the state of our light when we step out. Are we able to raise our vibration? And so starting to go within to start to look, how much are you carrying around? So if you were to imagine like a flashlight shining down through the top of your head, it comes down through the chakras and your body, and it emanates out around the body, which is what is often called the aura. And it's our energy field. And the thing about, so just kind of be aware of that for a minute. Right behind your eyes, if you could have your attention, that's the sixth chakra, the clairvoyant center, means clear seeing. And that's the ability to see energy in the form of thoughts and pictures and visualization, that kind of thing. That's all that clairvoyance is. And just notice that with your eyes closed, you actually have 360-degree awareness. You can see your bubble behind you. You're sitting in, kind of make it a couple feet around your body. And the thing about that, that's the one thing we have control over. We can decide what kind of energy we want to walk around in. And we may not have control of what's happening out there with pandemics or things, but we can decide and work with the kind of energy inside our bubble. And so it's so important, and I'm finding that's happening more with this crisis that's going on, that people have to go within and start to, like all the different things today, Rick and Vanessa have been teaching how to shift your energy within that bubble. So that technique of grounding I found is one of the most important ones. And I know a lot of you have done grounding, but this I find it's really necessary. And the thing about when you hear that term grounding or being grounded, it's a state, an energy state you're in or not, or somewhat. So when you feel really calm, really centered, present, you're grounded. When you're anxious, spacey, bouncing off the walls, you're not grounded. So that learning this actual technique can really help you to bring yourself back to that state of feeling calm. So, and it's also a great tool to release energy. We're going to be using it for that. So go ahead with your eyes closed and just put your attention on the base of your spine. That's the first chakra. It's also the survival chakra. And what you're going to do, and some of you I know have done this, you're going to visualize an energy connection down into the center of the earth. And one that people often use is like a tree trunk, going down, roots down into the ground. You can use a beam of light, a rope, a monkey tail. They're just images to help you visualize that grounding cord and let it go all the way down to the center of the earth, which is a couple miles down. So it's really connected in, rooted in, tied in. And just take a nice deep breath and just allow that kind of pull of gravity just to feel that for a minute. And the other great thing about grounding that I wanted to talk about is, mention it as a way to release energy. And again, everything's energy, so that fear you're carrying around is a certain vibration in you. And as we go through this, I want you to start to feel that in or how much of that fear, worry, anxiety are you holding inside your bubble in your body? Our body will tell us. You'll feel sometimes the breathing's hard, the tension and the pit of your stomach, your thoughts spinning. It's all reaction to that energy of fear or worry. And so again, grounding cord is great for releasing. I always talk about the earth being, the best recycler in the world. Because when you think about, you put fertilizer like manure on the fields and these plants grow back up. So, you know, the earth is happy to have us dump our stuff into it. And then it sends back amazing healing energy. So that's another way to use grounding. And we're going to play with that for a minute. So take a nice deep breath. And what I'd like you to do, again, I'm going to talk about colors for a minute. And I got to hear a little bit of Rick's last with gold. I use gold a lot. We're going to use that. You know, it's you probably heard of colors in the aura. And all that is it's all scientific. The colors are frequencies of the light, you know, the light hitting, and it makes the colors. So they're just different vibrations. So it's a really easy way to teach and work with energy using colors. So with that in mind, as you're focusing, you're in your bubble, kind of noticing and have your grounding there. You're going to use that to release. And what I'd like you to do is just allow a color to pop into your head that represents the energy of fear that you're carrying around. So, and the other thing I'd like to mention with energy work is there's no right or wrong to it. It's really about getting curious. So yeah, just kind of ask yourself, what's the color? Or you can pick one. And then what I'd like you to do with your eyes closed is just notice how much of that color you're carrying around in your body, in your bubble there, in your energy centers. And it could be your fear, could be old fears getting triggered. That happens a lot. Again, I mentioned if we're carrying around some deep old, you're anxious a lot as a kid, things like that. That's all going to get triggered. And the other interesting thing is you could be carrying around other people's fear. And if you're sensitive, it's easy to match the collective consciousness or friends or family. And you actually end up with their fear in your bubble. So it's pretty amazing how sensitive we are. So once you've identified that color, and again, we're just playing, so let yourself just kind of notice, just imagine a sponge. And that sponge is going to go around and collect up that color. So you're going around collecting up that fear. And you can squeeze it out down your grounding cord. You know, it's kind of fun. You can use different images to release energy. You can squeeze it out and collect it up until, yeah, you feel like you've gotten most of that fear energy, that color. And then, yeah, just toss that sponge down your grounding cord. Basically, you're just dumping all that fear right down your grounding cord. And then imagine it like a gold sun over your head or a gold ball of energy. People have mentioned using that. Gold is just a nice high vibration. It's a, you know, you think of like black or brown, it's kind of heavy vibration. And just imagine, visualize that gold starting to pour down through the top of your head, like a sun shining down, like a waterfall. And you're going to direct that gold all the way down to your feet, your legs, and just start to fill your whole body with that gold light. And as your body fills up with that gold, let it spill out around into your aura, into that bubble you're seeing again. Because again, that's the one thing you can decide what kind of energy. And I like to think, you know, in the middle of all this fear, the more people we have sitting at a higher vibration at that light, the better off the world is. So really visualize that. And gold, it fills in where you cleared that fear out, brings your energy up. It's a great healing technique and you can use anytime. You know, it's interesting. I did a workshop the other day on releasing shame, which is a certain vibration, right? And one of the students said, and it was kind of neat because I realized I'd had the same thought. She said, you know, I feel like people are shaming me for being happy right now. And I'm like, yeah, it's like it's not okay to be laughing or having fun or happy in the middle of this. So you might give yourself permission that that's okay, because, you know, obviously laughter, they've done studies, builds up the immune system. You know, you're at a higher energy. So really filling with that gold. Then I wanted to do one other level in this meditation. And I've been noticing that the words are being used a lot with the coronavirus, that it's the enemy, it's the, you know, adversary, it's a threat, it's going to get, you know, it's all that kind of energy, which makes it a lot harder not to match all the fear. And I was looking at that because I remember hearing the Dalai Lama is one of my favorite role models. You know, he stays up at that light, that high energy, talking about how he considers the Chinese his teachers rather than his enemy. And if anybody had, you know, to think of them as being in hate, revenge, and would be the Dalai Lama, but no, he sees them as his teachers. He so that he can work on clearing more fear, hate, anger out of himself. So I thought we could do a little bit of a meditation with the coronavirus, and I found a quote that I'm going to read as you as we start to do this. And it's some of you probably heard of a well-known Buddhist nun, Pema Chodron. And I just thought this quote fit right in, and then we'll just do a few minutes of shifting the energy in your relationship to the coronavirus. And the quote is, obstacles can become our teachers. What we call obstacles are really the way the world and our entire experience teach us when we're stuck. Whether we experience what happens to us as obstacle and enemy or as teacher and friend depends entirely on our perception of reality. It depends on our relationship with ourselves. So I use this a lot in my teachings when people are, oh, that person drives me nuts, I hate him. And I'm like, let's consider them your teacher. What are you learning from them? And it totally changes the energy. You get out of the fight, the fear, the power struggle, the who's right, the who's wrong. And to me, the highest energy, spiritual energy, is win-win. We're all a piece of the light. We should all win. I think Rick mentioned that in the ripple effect out in the world. So go ahead and take a nice deep breath. I'm just gonna play with this for a few minutes. And just say hello to your grounding again, and you're surrounded by gold. And what I'd like you to do, so this clairvoyance, really, it's simple. You know, it sounds all these fancy words, but clear seeing, it just means seeing energy in the form of thoughts. So when you visualize something, you're using your clairvoyance. So right out in front of that sixth chakra, which is in the center of your head there, what I'd like you to do is allow an image to appear that represents the coronavirus. And again, to so many of us, it's like a threat. You know, just notice, and it could be any image. There's no right or wrong with this. Again, you're gonna let go of any judgment. It's just a way to find out what we're carrying around so you can release it. So see, yeah, notice that image. Are you, does it feel threatening? Is it something to stamp out and get rid of? And are you resisting it? And just for a minute, take a look at that. And notice how you react to it. That's often how I can find stuck energy, you know, looking at visualizing something and noticing in yourself. Do you go in a little bit of fear? Do you resistance, a little bit of loss. There's a lot of loss with this. And what we're going to do is start to bring in some curiosity. We're actually going to start to see that image, however you're seeing it, as your teacher. And so just creating that thought, I think people have been talking a lot about the thoughts and how they can affect us physically and emotionally. And so creating that thought like, oh, I'm going to bring in some curiosity here and see the coronavirus as my teacher. What am I learning? And so just start to see, you might see the image shift. I mean, when you think about the coronavirus, it's not out to get, you know, it's just like us, it's trying to survive, right? It's not bad. It's not a malevolent, you know, whatever the word. Yeah, it's like us trying to survive. So go ahead and just start to see it from that level. Start to shift your relationship to it. And as you do that, start to light up in yourself. What are you learning from the coronavirus? If it was your teacher, what are some of the things that you're learning? It could be on a collective level that even the planet is learning, maybe more about compassion, about working together. You know, sometimes I think spirit, you know, when we're not listening, tosses in a virus and goes, you guys got to wake up. So again, shifting your relationship. And then what are you personally learning? How to go within more, how to manage fear, how to be more with yourself, how to connect more with family and friends. And just start to notice how the image changes. And instead of being a threat or an enemy, it's a teacher. And then go ahead and just allow that energy to come in, like, oh, what am I learning here? It just can change your whole vibration. And this technique is actually really helpful if there's other things in your life that you're resisting or see as a threat or a problem, to actually go, it's my teacher, your teacher of the moment, and it can shift your whole vibration. So go ahead and take a nice deep breath again. And so we used gold. I want to just let you play with a couple of other ways to use energy and colors that may be helpful. I find them helpful. So you can kind of let go of that image of the coronavirus and just virus, and just notice how your energy changed. If you felt a little shift, seeing it as your teacher. And another fun way to work with energy, I had you bring the gold in. And what you're going to do is just create like a balloon over your head, and just put in the energy of peace, the sense of peace. So I know their speakers talked about how do you feel these vibrations in the body rather than just a thought. And so this can be really helpful. So that balloon is full of the energy of peace, and let it be a color. You can remember colors are vibration. That's a great way to work with energy. And then just pop that balloon and just let that color just pour down into your space. So you're filling your whole body up with that vibration of just feeling at peace. And put yourself in a bubble of that energy. So the neat thing about energy is, again, you're looking at what am I carrying around in my bubble? What's not serving me? Some ways to release that, to shift out of it, and then to bring in a new vibration. Because again, that's the only thing we have control over, what's inside our space. And so you can do that with any, go ahead and create another balloon and put some joy in there. Why not? It's okay to have joy, even in the middle of all this. And again, just let it be a color. And there's no right or wrong. It could be more than one color. And that balloon has the word joy on it, and you just pop it, and it just fills your whole body with that vibration. It raises the energy, even the energy in the cells. Everything's energy. So as you do this, it just brings your vibration up. And let it fill up your aura, so you're sitting in a bubble of that. And you can walk around, give yourself total permission to be at these higher vibrations. I'd rather, again, I've talked about, being a light, and other people can match you, rather than all of us dropping down into the fear and loss and pain. So, and then another great energy you can feel that is always good is that unconditional love and compassion energy. And so again, just a balloon full of that vibration, whatever colors, pop it and just let it fill up your whole body, your energy field. So that's a great technique, and because of course you could pick any energy you want. You want fun, you want laughter, you want abundance, and so you're walking around in those energies and letting it flush out the heavier energy. So everybody, yeah, go ahead and pick one. And pop that balloon and really fill up yourself, being a nice bubble of those higher vibrations. I always like amusement. Gets me through a lot. So that's a good energy to bring in. And then when you're all filled up with that and full of those higher vibrations, you can, go ahead and stretch a little, let yourself open your eyes, and yeah, great, good job.
Thank you so much, Shelley. And
yeah,
as we're going to open it up to some questions and sharing, we'll stay on the line a few minutes longer. But I also wanted to just, if Catherine in Paris is on the line, it was so sweet. I don't know if the applause has already ended in Paris, but last week she turned her computer around so we could hear everyone applauding the medical workers in France. So Catherine, if you're here and that's happening, let us know. And then also, if any of you want to learn more about Shelley and her work, I put a link to her website. She works with people one-on-one over the phone. So if you want to do an energy clearing, I highly recommend it. Email her or text her. All that information is in the chat. And then just want to open it up to folks who might have a question or wanted to share something with Shelley. There were some comments that Amanda said, calling obstacles and difficult situations and people as teachers is a really good reframe. And Beata said, coronavirus is teaching us something, maybe to stop and transform ourselves and the planet. So thank you for those comments.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and I'll just share, one of my friends put on, I don't even ever look at Instagram, but she put on Instagram, I saw they'd made coronavirus pancakes with their little kids. It was like the blob with, like legs coming out with chocolate chips and raspberries for like eyes and nose and a mouth. And when you're having us picture coronavirus, I was seeing like a person in one of those incubated stretchers in Italy in this black wall. But then I saw these like coronavirus pancakes, and they were like dancing in, and it brought this real playful energy to it that was really fun to put that. I kind of overlaid that on top of the fearful images, and it really helped.
That's great. I love that. That's funny.
Yeah, and if anyone else wants to share what you noticed or experienced during that energy healing meditation, you can unmute yourself and share, or you can type in the comments. Lisa, I saw your comment. I'm going to just unmute you if you want to share yourself.
Oh, a little bit noisy in the background here, but I just found it so soothing and cleansing. I think just being in the bubble and using the balloon and just popping it, it was just what I needed. So thank you so much. It's just so centering, really cleansing. Thank you.
Great to hear.
I'll chat with my daughter later. I think she could really enjoy that as well.
Yeah, you know, I've had a lot of students who had kids, and they're so open to this kind of thing because they have great imaginations, and you know, they'll put them to sleep at night and they get to be in a bubble and the colors they want in there and the energy. And yeah, it's a great way to talk to kids about energy. Yeah. So
it's been beautiful. This whole experience today has just been such a gift. And Vanessa, again, like, thank you. I can't believe my luck in coming across your work and the enrichment that it's brought. And I know I've seen a few friends sort of pop on today as well. So just thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Vanessa. It's such a valuable tool. I'm just thrilled about it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Yay. Thanks for sharing.
Pleasure.
And I love what you said about the kids, Shelley. I remember I took one energy healing class with Shelley where another woman was doing the balloons of colors with her daughter at night, and they would call it fairy dust, and she would sprinkle it. She'd say, "What color fairy dust do you want tonight?" And I started doing that with my daughter, and it works like a charm. She loves it. She'll be like, "Tonight I want rainbow fairy dust," you know, and I just put it through her whole body. So it's fun to play around with it with kids too. And it looks like Amar said, I felt like a happy child when I thought about popping balloons. It was very soothing. Elizabeth has a question. Why do adults tend to lose imagination? I know it's there, but it's less accessible than children seem to have.
Yeah, that seems to be, I know that was a problem for me. You know, as kids, we're very intuitive. We pick up a lot, and then we start to get messages that it's not okay, or grow up, or that's, you know, and we start to shut down. Even, you know, I have a lot of experience with people who are aware of, say, people have died around them or guides and things like that. And kids are really open to that, and they'll say something, or even, you know, "Mom, why is the neighbor pregnant?" You know, they're reading everything, and we get a lot of energy that, no, that's not real. Don't talk, don't say, and we just start to shut down. So a lot of the work I do is helping people open up again and re-own those abilities, and that, you know, come as a little child. You know, how do you stay in wonder and magic and joy up to the minute we step out and stay in that energy, to me, when we step out. So I think that's why we just start to get messages, or people are unhappy around you. They don't like happy people. So, you know, misery loves company. They'll start to, you know, put that energy, you know, nope, life is hard, and then you die, and everything's a problem. And so we shut down. But yeah, I've had a lot of experience with parents, if they can at least themselves be open to that, like Vanessa was saying, you know, can help the kid have permission to stay open. I had a little bit of, with my mom, now I'm fairly old. Back when I was a kid, they called it ESP. And my mom was very intuitive, very psychic. Psychic just means soul essence, but it's got a bad rap with all the psychic hotlines. So intuitive was kind of the latest word, but she knew when a friend of hers had died before she heard. She always knew when we were lying. So I had a little bit of permission to, you know, to open up and have experiences and things like that. But it's a process to open back up. So.
Yeah. Anyone else have questions or thoughts for Shelley? She said, Dar asked, can you say more about the gold color significance?
You know, I guess if you just think of, again, colors being frequencies of energy. And, you know, one thing I'll do in my classes is have people do a color meditation. That's a great way to feel the difference. So you can do that on your own. Visualize running black or blue or red. And it's interesting as you start to go up toward gold, yellow, gold, it's just a higher frequency, and you can feel it in your body. And so I think gold, it just has that sense of, the sun, the warm sun, it's just a nice high frequency. But other colors you can use too, the way we're doing. But you hear a lot about, that gold, even through history. So it's just a nice high vibration. And I'll just throw out, when I teach, you can like put the room you're sitting in, your house in a gold bubble, your car in a gold bubble. I have my students go out and use gold a lot. And they'll come back with all these great stories like, I was in a meeting and Facebook and I put a gold bubble around and the whole energy changed. Yeah, I mean, it can literally shift the energy in a second to bring it up to gold. So you can use, and one student I had who was a vice president at some.com, and he said he would visualize gold in a squirt gun. And then when his employees came in, he would squirt them with gold. And then he was funny. He said, but the problem is they don't want to leave. Get them to leave my office because it feels so good, the energy. So yeah, so he used to, email, shooting you with gold. So that was kind of fun image. I'd never thought of that one, but yeah, so play with the gold. You can use it for a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. As some of you know, I do a lot of keynote speaking, and Shelley's helped me with that. I'll put the whole, before I go on stage, I put the whole room in a gold bubble. I ground the room, and I'll set the energy of the room, of the space, before I go into it. How do I want people to feel walking out, inspired or informed, or do I want them to have curiosity? And I'll put those colors in that bubble too. And it really makes a difference. You can feel it. So I invite you to play around with her techniques and see how it works for you. Well, Shelley, I know we're a little over time, but I want to just give it to you if you have any final thoughts before we close.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. And just if you feel yourself lose your space, just sit down, kind of ground, look at what you're carrying. You can let it go down your grounding cord, bring in those colors. It's all, I actually have a motto, whatever works. Sometimes if my energy drops, I'll call a friend who laughs a lot. And next thing I know, I'm laughing. Again, it's shifting. Watch a funny movie, all these other tips people have given. But yeah, it's all about shifting out, recentering and being at that higher vibration. So yeah, Earth School, a lot of lessons.
I was just having all these intense conversations with my mom. It's a long story, but I was joking with her that, if I believe my soul came here to learn all these lessons, there's times when I feel like, man, my soul kind of signed up for too many AP classes this time around. And you get to call, you're like, I shouldn't have signed up for so many AP classes all at the same time. Like, what was I thinking?
Exactly. A lot of kids, I'll work with people and they'll say as a kid, they're like, why did I come into this family? Even then as a kid, they have that feeling, what was I thinking? But a lot of lessons there, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you for the reframe of treating coronavirus as our teacher and giving some really practical tools and techniques for everyone to, clear their energy field and come back to a higher vibration. Your wisdom is so appreciated always, and especially at this time. So thank you so much, Shelley. It's been such an honor.
Thank you to all of you for, being here.
Yeah, and reach out to Shelley. Like I said, I put the link to her website. We'll put it by the video with the recording as well for those of you watching the replay, but it's intuitiveabilities.com, or you can email her at Shelley, Shelley, at intuitiveabilities.com. She's fabulous. Highly recommend her.
So are you. Thank you.
So thank you. And as we end, if people want to just type in the comments or unmute yourself and share like one word for how you're feeling now. I like to do that to kind of just wrap things up. And I'll just share that I'm feeling grateful and full, like in the best possible sense.
I'm feeling calm and peace, capable and empowered.
Woo! Love it. And I'll read some others. People said
calm and grateful.
Calm and grateful. Thank you. Feel free to unmute yourself and share. I love what Karen said, full of love and ready to meet whatever. Uplifted and able, Jennifer said, to help myself. Serene and empowered to help raise the vibration. I love the meditation, thank you. Feeling free and joyful. Happy to know you guys are out there. If anyone else wants to share, you can say it now or type in the comments. And how about you, Shelley? What's your word?
Light, feeling lighter, hopeful, actually, that more people can stay up and out of the heaviness and come out the other end at even better energy, even more healing, more at a higher state of awareness. Yep.
Yay!
Hey!
Well, that was the intention, so I'm glad it's working. All right, everyone. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day and week and month and life. And remember, we will be here next week, same time, same bat place, 9:30 to noon Pacific Standard Time. Next week, we have Carol Robin, who was my absolute favorite professor at Stanford Business School. She teaches the most popular class at Stanford called Interpersonal Dynamics, but everyone refers to it as touchy-feely. And she's going to be leading a class on leadership in crisis. And hopefully she will be followed by Will Cabot-Zinn, who I have a call with in just a little bit to confirm his timing and his topic. But he is an amazing mindfulness and meditation teacher. He's John Cabot-Zinn's son. John Cabot-Zinn is the founder of MBSR, Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction. And Will has so much wisdom to share with the world. So he will probably be joining us as well. And I believe along with Marnie Hines, who will be sharing she's a senior executive at Salesforce, and we'll be talking about this new paradigm of working from home and what's going to support leaders in this environment. So hopefully we'll see many of you next week. In the meanwhile, sending you lots of love. And if you registered for these calls, you will be emailed all the recordings and you will be included in the next week's call. So it's just the same link. You don't have to re-register or anything. Just click on that same link next Thursday and we'll see you then. All right, everyone. Much love. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Thank you, Shelley.